Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Justin, and this is kind of an interesting challenge. Justin wanted me to play a deck that purges one of my toxic X's. And what he means by that is a card that, even if it's not working, I just can't stop playing, and I continue to register it to my detriment. And while this might be fudging the category a little bit because this card is clearly always okay, I've decided to make URO my Toxic X. The reason for this is, although this card has remained legacy playable, you see it in decks, there's never been a spot where it hasn't been in decks ever since its printing. When it was first printed 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, it was the guy. It just defined the format in a lot of ways, defined what sort of interaction was good enough. Discard was unplayable. Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, those cards just faded from the metagame because they weren't good against URO. And in the years since then, URO has not kept up with Combo Reanimator, or Doomsday, or Up the Beanstalk as an engine if you want to be a green control deck. You play Beanstalk before you register URO. Sometimes they're together, frequently they're not. There was even a time in Legacy where trying to play control where your deck didn't start with 4 Beanstalks was just a mistake. But luckily, the great Legacy brewer Pokemoki is back here again, brewing a deck that does not contain Up the Beanstalk, is a control deck, and prominently features URO Titan of Nature's Wrath as an engine and a win condition. This is Bug Pokepile for 2026. And you can see Pokemoki's hands all over this if you recognize Legacy Brewers. We've got 2 Stifles, 1 Daze, 1 Dress Down, 1 Strix, 2 Tameo. Just these numbers are carefully selected so the deck can overlap with itself in ways that cover the things that you need to cover without being glutted on moderate effects like Stifle or Daze that can be bad in certain spots, but in other times are a blowout. If your opponent sees 1 Stifle or 1 Daze, they got to think about what if you have 4 for the rest of the match. Stifle in this deck can get double action with URO. You can play URO on turn 3, draw a card, put the land into play, and then Stifle the trigger that sacrifices URO. We got a little bit of a scam package here. Stifle lines up against Doomsday and Storm and matchups that are traditionally difficult. 4 Wastelands plus Life from the Loam, that's a plan. The Witherbloom commands. Got a lot of Wastelands coming back. This is kind of a tempo deck, but it can play control, much like Bug Beans, but it's not built around beans. It's just full of cards that I love. And specifically for the case of Justin's challenge here is it's got URO. And that is kind of the primary win con. We've got 1 Kaito, 1 Barrogoyf, 1 Murktide, 2 URO. That's the respect it deserves. Here we go. This is Bug Midrange from Pokemoki, sponsored by Patreon subscriber Justin. This video is sponsored by Boot.dev, a fun and effective way to learn to code. Boot.dev is structured like an RPG. Complete lessons to earn XP and level up. Take on side quest challenges, collect helpful items, earn achievement, and battle bosses while learning real-life coding skills. If you ever get stuck, Boots the Bear Wizard is there with you every step of the way. Boots is a helpful tutor, trained in the Socratic method to guide you in finding answers yourself rather than giving them to you directly. I've personally never coded or had interest in coding. Boot.dev gave me access to the program for this collaboration, and what started as research turned into a genuine side hobby as I log in every day to keep my learning streak going. It's free to create an account where you can read and watch all of the content for all of the courses. A free demo of the interactive RPG features is available for the first few chapters of each course. Code BoshNRoll at checkout gets you 25% off a full year membership, and they have a 30-day, no questions asked refund policy. The median salary for backend developers in the US was over $100,000 last year, and many developer jobs have remote work options. If you're looking for a change, this is a no-risk way to see if coding might be for you. Scan the QR code or use code BoshNRoll at boot.dev for 25% off your annual membership. I'm on the play in round 1 versus a Jeggy the Wellspring. I do not know what deck plays that card in Legacy. It's not often a piece of tech or a piece of information surprises me in this format. I like to think I know what's going on. But Gigantha is not one that stands out to me as representing a particular archetype. Thinking about cards that are commonly played in this format that Jeggy is incompatible with: Force of Will, Murktide Regent, Chalice of the Void, Kozilek's Command. This might be lands. I guess I've seen lands play Gigantha as a companion, just as kind of an air quotes free 5/5. I've seen kind of Bomberman decks play Gigantha before, where it's just like something to do with infinite mana if you don't have your combo going. Super fringe, but it is here. Tendrils of Agony can't be in your deck, but you can Burning Wish for it. Echo of Eons you can't play. Yeah, I am going to start with Misty Rainforest, and plan is to fetch a Surveil land. And I know this hand is a little bit dirtily, but I think that's okay. Alright, maybe not. Ocelot Pride, huh? Okay, Undercity Sewers. Alright, easy, easy. Always had it. You were worried? What do you mean? A tropical island, I'll have each opponent sacrifice a non-token creature of their choice. And bridging that gap just made this hand really good. I could have Murderous Cut that Ocelot Pride if I needed to. If I fetch, mill away, literally whatever it is, fetch again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or that's 1, 2, or yeah, this would be the Surveilled card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I could exactly Murderous Cut that if I'm willing to Surveil away anything. Amped Raptor, okay. That was just some energy stuff. Voice of Victory, that card's pretty good. Okay, I could speedrun Uro into play, or I could try to kill one of these creatures. I think I want Uro. Here he comes. This will gain some life, gives me something to be doing down the stretch. If I want to exile Uro, I could actually Murderous Cut right now, but I don't want to do that. Oh my goodness. A card I've never seen. What is this even from? OTJ Commander. When this enters, and if opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a desert, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. When one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, make a red, green, and white sand warrior. Okay. When one or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere? Why haven't I seen this card with fetch lands and stuff? That's interesting. And this isn't new. Outlaws of Thunder Junction was 2 years ago. Yeah, with Wasteland too? This is sweet. They mobilize. I can't Murderous Cut now because of the Voice of Victory, so I simply will not. Force of Will, that card stinks. I could kill Voice of Victory right now, and I think I probably should. Fetch for Tropical Island. I could Wasteland and cut. That's probably better. Oh, one of your lands go to the graveyard from anywhere. That includes getting wasted. Alright, well, still gonna do it. I'm still more worried about Voice of Victory than I am about the Sand Scout guy. Hey, this is 4 cards in my graveyard plus Uro. Another Raptor. I have to imagine there's no misses in the deck. Ah, we got him. Okay. There is that sort of miss. But I can't imagine there's 3 drops in this deck. 10 life's not that much, though. Marsh Flats. A fetch land gets Uro on the stack. Brainstorm mostly stinks, but Orcish Bowmaster could buy me a bunch of time. Witherbloom Command I don't hate. That can kill an Amped Raptor and pick up a land for me. Do I want to pick up a land, or do I want to gain life? If I put back Swamp and Brainstorm, I have Force of Will up, access to Uro next turn. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage on board. I think I need to gain life here. Would I rather cast Ponder or guarantee Force Blue card? I think I'd rather guarantee Force Blue card. A Swamp and Ponder go back. Bayou. Target creature gets -3/-1. Target player loses 2 life. Kill Amped Raptor, drain you for 2. And I am all in on Uro plus Force of Will. Doing enough here. Sand Scout making its 3rd 1/1. It's crazy, I've never seen this card. Okay, so they attack me to 7. I play Uro. I go back to 10. Then they can attack for 5 around the Uro. Wasteland is the card I'm worried about here, because Swamp on top of my deck, or I Ponder on top of my deck. But that still doesn't cast Uro next turn. I can force spells. Wasteland threads the needle perfectly. Sunbaked Canyon, that's another Sand Warrior. Oh yeah. 4 1/1s generated off this thing after it drew a card when it came into play. Crazy. Ooh. Oh, this is Spider Punk. Other spiders you control have riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered. Damage can't be prevented. All right, well, use it or lose it on this guy. Okay, take my beats. URO happens. And then I hope that's enough to stabilize. Blue, blue, green, green. Put Swamp into play, which unfortunately does not cast Ponder. They can't have Solitude in their deck because of Jeggy. We've seen Swords to Plowshares. I'm at 1 on this board. If they find 1 damage, if they have a Lightning Bolt, if they have Plow, I at least gain a bunch of life. Just gotta hope their hand is like 2 lands here. There's 1. Voice of Victory. That's a lot of damage next turn. Sand Scout, the 5th 1/1. I'm just gonna keep score forever because this card is crazy. 1 card left in hand. Oh, this has haste. Yeah, I'm just dead. They did not have to play Voice of Victory. I guess it's the same. Yeah, if I counter the Spider Punk. Okay. Well, they got me. I'll block Sand Scout just as a matter of principle. After it kills me, I'll take it down with me. That was cool. Not often I lose to a 2.5-year-old card I've never seen. A Hydroblast, Toxic Deluge, Engineered Explosives. I think that's the business I'm in. Not hyped about Daze or Force. I think Daze is worse than Force if I don't have enough. If I have 4 cards I want to bring in only, and 5 cards I want to take out, I would rather have Force in than Daze. Okay, this is the plan. Okay, I like Witherbloom Command in the matchup. Stifle has some heat on it. I will keep. I'm going to play Polluted Delta and pass. If they fetch, I'll blast them with the Stifle. If they play Ocelot Pride, I'll just kill it with a Witherbloom Command. If they play that one, I'll Sheoldred's Edict. I got an answer for everything here. Undercity Sewer. Do I want Wasteland? Not really. Yeah, I do have the option of wasting the Caracas here and rolling the dice against Guide of Souls over a longer period. I think I'd rather just Edict this thing. I guess Edict's an instant. I could have just waited to see what they did this turn. Like if I need to stifle a fetch land or something else. Yeah, that was a little jumpy. Jumpier than I needed to be. You've got a Wasteland. You've got an Ocelot Pride. Yeah, this is going to be an important turn to draw a Black Source. No such luck. Brainstorm. Oh no. Oh no. 3-color deck betraying me here. Put back Witherbloom Command and Toxic Deluge and then probably die. I guess I will Wasteland them to try to break even here and get through this Brainstorm lock. Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Okay, I'm Brainstorm locked behind an Ocelot Pride that will get a bunch of triggers. Yeah, if I had just forced Ocelot Pride, they did play the Wasteland before they played Pride, so I did have the information I needed to make that decision. Okay, so I'm going to stifle Ocelot Pride's end step trigger and just try to mitigate the cat count as I work my way to Barrowglyph and Toxic Deluge. I probably have to Force of Will almost anything. But Barrowglyph and Deluge are the types of cards that can catch a game like this up. They stifle that. This Stifle is worth 1 damage for the rest of the game. Like, that's a cat that won't attack me next turn, or the turn after, or the turn after. Right, my next draw is Wild. Cantrips are good. Black Sources are good. 4th Aerolingus. Nope. Yeah, 4th Aerolingus for 0 means that if either of these creatures hit me, they become the Monarch. I'm definitely not beating the Monarch. I'm probably not beating the board as it stands, and certainly not if they become the Monarch. Brainstorm, please show me lands, 2 of them. Oh no! Alright, well, sometimes you get wastelanded twice and do not play a game of Magic. Fair enough. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round number 2. I'm going to keep a Cavern of Souls. Elf. All right. What elf do we have? A Nettle Sentinel. Oh, yeah. I'm into it. I think I just want to cook this thing before it could make mana out of a Gaia's Cradle. If my opponent is on old school combo elves, then I could probably wait to go after that Nettle Sentinel until like a Heritage Druid or something else shows up. Allosaurus Shep, okay. My counterspells will not work, I understand. Stifle, pretty sweet. I'm going to brainstorm looking for a removal spell. Orcish Bowmaster, there it is. That is the reason that Elves is not a particularly well explored archetype anymore. I'm going to put Swamp and Trop on top of the deck. And I'm going to Wasteland the Stride Arbor. That could be worth multiple mana with Quarian Rangers, Gaia's Cradles, all these things. And I would like to get into this Orcish Bowmaster next turn, pick off a 1/1, and carry on my life. Wasting Dryad Arbor when they have Cavern of Souls and I have Force of Will feels a little weird. I just don't think this game is going to be about counterspells if I can play enough removal spells. Quarian Ranger, that's the thing I said. Okay, I do not want to draw Swamp, so now I'm going to fetch. This will probably be Bayou just to round out my colors. And I am going to use Bowmaster to kill Quarian Ranger. I'm just not worried about Allosaurus Shepherd, because they have Cavern. It's not like killing this is going to do anything unique, where Quarian Ranger could suddenly represent multiple mana. I wonder if I had waited, if I could have just killed both of those things in combat. Probably. Just with Gaia's Cradle being part of the equation, I'm playing maybe more careful than I need to. I'll attack with both. I am happy to trade with Allosaurus Shepherd. Cool. That turns Glimpse of Nature back on, but that's not the card I'm worried about right now. Like, they don't seem to have mana or creatures. And that card requires both. It's gonna get on board and move forward. Oh, baby. Bowmaster's going nuts here. The whole squad is here for the party. It did not have a follow-up there. I'm going to attack, and I'm not going to push extra damage off the Orc army. I could have attacked with this as a 3/3, but having the ability to pick off the next two X1s or an X2 is all pretty nice. I'll play one in the end step here. I'm trying Narset, right? Yeah, but not if I push here. Okay, so I will draw Narset. I'll use her to dig. Oh, no. All right, the full width. A bunch of stuff to the bottom. I could have brainstormed before activating Narset to guarantee she connects. I think in a deck with this many spells, that's kind of a waste of a brainstorm. But it would have worked out better there. Quarian Ranger. Another elf has arrived. It's an elf that dies to Bowmaster. Sheoldred's Edict, yeah, I'll put that in the bank. Just more removal spells. Happy to have them. Narset, still not wasting my brainstorm on this. Ooh. Witherbloom Command kills the creature and gets me my Wasteland back. Green, black. Going for the flawless victory. Oh, they won't let me have it. Okay, scooping before I can blow up all the permanents. Okay. Engineered Explosives, Grafdigger's Cage, Toxic Deluge. I think these are the cards I'm interested in. Dress Down has text. I don't believe in Daze very much. I just took Pokemoki's most updated list. I would probably not put Daze in the deck at all if I were building it myself. That's the Pokemoki special that I think is cuter than it is good. A Narset Bowmaster, every removal spell. These cards are all good. I think Stifle is mediocre. And Force of Will might also be mediocre, which is weird to say because they're a combo deck, but they have Allosaurus Shep and Cavern. I'd rather fight them on other axes. Disruptor Flute could name something like Quarian Ranger, but I think at that point we're overboarding. Even naming Glimpse or Natural Order and make it cost 3 more could make their deck harder to function. I am going to keep this hand. It's kind of bad if they have a fast Glimpse combo, but it's quite good if we end up in a Dirtle game. Tamio is famously pretty reasonable against decks with a lot of 1/1s in them. Opponent mulled to 6. And a Zenith, this crazy Zenith. It's gone and shuffled into the deck, so I can't keep looking at it, but I actually, at Commander Sealed last year, used my prize ticks to get a large version of that. It's not quite the full oversized one, but it is like the size of a book. Okay, this Fatal Push is really nice. Do I want to develop Tamiyo and roll the dice for a turn? Do I think I can die to Dryad Arbor next turn? I actually just think I'm being greedy and foolish if I don't Fatal Push now. The greed to develop Tamiyo is there, but as I've been saying, Gaia's Cradle is a card that exists. Ranger and Arbor. Okay, so that Dryad Arbor would have been worth a lot of mana this turn. Okay. A little bit of a bummer that I have to pass with mana up without killing the Dryad Arbor. This is 4 mana on this board already. It's more if they have a Cradle. Metal Sentinel is in. Do you have the Heritage Druid to do it? Do it all the way. A Bounce Forest, untapping Nettle Sentinel. They could have floated mana with Dryad Arbor and untapped that. Quarian Ranger doesn't care that you untap an elf. It's any creature. And if you're just not doing anything and you're using that to untap the mana, then it doesn't really matter. Oh no, I drew the best card in my deck. Okay, well, I'm going to attack first and then probably just deluge the board. I'm attacking first because if they do something like commit to an Endurance here, I want to be able to sweep that up too. Because they could go 1, 2, bounce this, untap this, Endurance block. Okay, I will sweep for 2. They could still Endurance in response, but if they don't do that, it's Tamiyo versus the world here, and the world is just a basic forest. Yep, bouncing the Dryad Arbor to save it. That was a sick play. It's still out of play, and it's a later problem, but that was a tight catch. Dryad Arbor is back. Land. Does land change what I want to do? I could just Murderous Cut this Dryad Arbor and continue banking stuff with Tamiyo. I could also develop Kaito, stun the Dryad Arbor, and just have that going on. I think I like that. A Ninja Time. And now I'm actually clocking. Tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it. Fetch and play Tamiyo. URO's in my hand. I have the same number of green and black sources in my deck, but black cards are better in the matchup outside of URO. I'll get Underground Sea. If I brainstorm into or connect with Kaito, then draw my way into like Fatal Push plus Orcish Bowmaster, I want to be able to cast 2 black cards. Hey look, 2 black cards. Tamiyo's likely to flip this turn, unless they have a removal spell, because Kaito will draw a card, and then I have all these clues. Or URO also flips Tamiyo here. Okay, Surveil 2 and draw a card. Ulsh Murktide Regent. I think I'm just going to go top here. Swamp plays URO, which flips Tamiyo and leaves up either of these removal spells as an option. My opponent mentioned in chat they haven't really played Legacy for a couple years, and this is their first match back. And I'm feeling for them right now, having not played Legacy for a while and coming back into a format where you have to play against Orcish Bowmaster and Tamiyo. Llanowar Elves. I'm going to Sheoldred's Edict in response. Dryad Arbor and Llanowar Elves are pretty close to the same card, but if you have the option to deny your opponent a choice or give them a choice, you should deny them a choice. So if I wait for Llanowar Elves to resolve and then cast our Edict and they sack Elves, that means they have some forest synergy or something with Arbor that they can make a decision about. I'd prefer that just wasn't the case. A attack with Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. My plan here is to surveil away at least 1 card, so then I can escape URO. Oh, I don't have double green. Alright, so I can't escape URO anyway. Never mind. These cards are both really good. Oh wait, if I get Grafdigger's Cage, I can't escape URO ever. I don't think I need access to that this game. I'll put Force in my hand, and because I can't play URO anyway, I guess I'll play Murktide Regent. Leaving Fatal Push in the graveyard because I plan to cast it right now. Tamiyo, get back Fatal Push, which grows Murktide. Murktide becomes 6/6. Push this elf. And opponent is dead on board. I don't think having a Tamiyo in play is better than cracking a clue here. Oh, I will just pass. Pendelhaven, hell yeah. Hardcast Once Upon a Time on turn 7. Not what you want to be doing with that one. Found a Verdant Catacombs. I'll crack a clue in the end step and then attack for 10. I found Ponder. I'll rub it in a little bit with the Wasteland. My ninjas get +1/+1. Attack for 10. GG's. One of my all-time favorite decks here, being picked apart by Universes Beyond and Lord of the Rings and Modern Horizons cards. So it is in the world of our current existence. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the draw in round 3, I'm going to keep. Got some lands to do stuff. Cantrip to find action. Island Ponder. Fatal Push, Force of Will. All right, well, that covers most of the bases here. If they try to combo off forces here, and if they play a creature next turn, Fatal Push is on top. Undercity Sewer. A Wasteland. That's mostly okay. Thoughtseize probably takes Brainstorm here. So they do see the double Wasteland in my hand, and if they want to Wasteland me and commit to this low resource garbage fest, I'm ready. My deck has Life from the Loam in it. Okay, they are going for the Wasteland. I'm drawing Fatal Push. Then I'm wasting low resource garbage fest it is. My next 3 land drops are lined up. Underground Sea, Ponder. Let's see a shuffle. Didn't shuffle. Okay. I don't think this second Wasteland is going to screw them for the entire game. I am still going to rip it off, though. Because the second Wasteland could slow down a Murktide, or if they fetch a basic in the future to play around the third Wasteland, then that keeps them off of color. Basic Island is there. I got all my basics, too. I don't plan on fetching them. I'd like Undercity Sewers and start making real moves here. Okay, this is why you rip off the second Wasteland. They've missed the land drop. Sewer. All right, now I just need some way to apply pressure. Orcish Bowmaster works. Underground Sea, pass. A Wasteland, okay. You want to keep doing this? Okay. I am going to play out the Bowmaster. This turns on Daze, but that puts them to 0 lands in play. And if their life total is reducing, that's good news for me. It also makes Ponder and Brainstorm worse draws, which would otherwise be pretty good draws. And here it is, folks. The reason for the season. It would not surprise me if my opponent conceded to this Life from the Loam. It really is that devastating. Life from the Loam, target Wasteland, Underground Sea, fetch land. Boom. All right, I have 7 cards in hand. My next 4 land drops lined up, and my opponent's in a Wasteland lock now. Okay, they found their basic swamp, all natural. That still doesn't cast Murktide. They can play their own Bowmaster, but they know I have Force Blue card. A Fatal Push. I'll attack with my creatures. Fatal Push. Okay, that's dead. I'll take the 1 damage and settle into being the control deck. Land drops are being developed over there. Hardly seems fair. I'll play out this Wasteland and attack. Screw beats Flood in a game of Magic. 3 turns ago I felt amazing, but now they've hit their next 2 land drops in a row, and I've drawn 2 lands after loaming. This game suddenly back in action. Brainstorm. Yep, don't have the Bowmaster for that. Thoughtseize. Probably interested in Force of Will if they're trying to make room for a Murktide to get in here. Though taking Dress Down also turns off Force of Will. Yeah, if their plan is to play Murktide this turn, they should take Dress Down. Fatal Push. All right, working through it. Must have some creatures they want to play. All right, there's that one. And I guess I'll draw for turn. I don't want to dredge yet. Oh, that was one of my best hits. This turns all these shitty lands into actual action. Brainstorm. Hits another land. That one's okay. Another Brainstorm as well. Wasteland U. Play a land, and I think I just pass here. I could Brainstorm again right now. Yeah, that's probably better. Why is that better? That's not better. What am I even talking about? Okay, I should not have fetched there, but I'll pass. If they crack this fetch, I'll Fatal Push in response. I'm just dancing around Brainstorm protecting Tamiyo, but I don't have to do that because of Witherbloom command. But they did fetch, so I'll take my clean shot here. Okay, sweet. That's handled. And now with a backup Brainstorm in my hand, I'm pretty happy to loam. Bowmaster, that's fine. And here, because I'm going to Witherbloom command, I don't actually have to dredge loam. I'm going to end step. I don't have to dress down. What am I doing? What am I talking about? I don't know what's going on right now. I am playing very poorly. Okay. I'm going to Witherbloom command. Target player mills 3. Target creature gives -3/-1. I'll mill 3, and I'll kill Bowmaster. Green, black. This is 3 looks at URO, and I did spike. When everything just works in a deck like this, it feels amazing. My Toxic X has arrived. I guess I'll ponder here. I've got plenty of action. Fatal Push, love to see it. Okay, next turn I will turn the corner with URO. Blue to Delta, what do you have? 1 fetchable left in the deck? We've got Sewer and 3 Seas in the graveyard. Ooh, Kaito. Oh, they either just sold the shit out of a bluff or made a huge mistake. They started tapping mana on that unblocked creature during my attack step, not during blocks, and then that lit the fire under me. I am going to dredge loam here because I know the top 2 cards in my deck are lands. And I'm going to cast URO. Blue, blue, green, green. Exiling. I don't need all these fetch lands anymore. I'll leave 1 in there for good measure, but the spells are useful for Murktide. Hit a Ponder. I hope there's a land left in my deck. There is. Ponder. Another Force, Narset, and Bowmaster. I'll keep all these cards. And ready to party. Something's happening in the end step. Feed the cycle. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Okay, Uro's dead. The mighty power of Uro. It already drew a card, took another card down with it. Life from the Loam, target Wasteland, Tropical Island, and Polluted Delta. Alright, tapping out finally. Yeah, this turn I was going to play the Trop, escape Uro. Uro puts in Wasteland, waste that. Cool. We've got some Dimir Tempo in the chat. Carpet of Flowers, Veil of Summer. These cards are all great. Nile Spellbomb has a little bit of use to it. I don't love Force of Will in this matchup, but having a few as an option is nice. The days that I will board out every round. I think I'll just cut another Force here, and I'll do this. There's 1 Force of Will in the deck as an option. I could bring in Caracas and Engineered Explosives as additional outs to Tamiyo, but I kind of just like all the cards in my deck right now. I'd probably cut a Stifle in the last Force if I was going to make room for either or both of those. Dress Down could probably come out in this matchup. Those are the weakest cards in the situation. All right, turn 1 Carpet of Flowers is the dream in any tempo matchup. I got double Wasteland Loam just already here. The full waste lock. Fetching basics immediately. It's probably a good idea. Carpet. This could get dazed, but I think that just has to be okay. And I'm not going to rip off this Brainstorm with no shuffle available. Both basics ready to go. One of them's not even an island. A Brainstorm flips their Tamiyo. That's good for me because that means I don't have to think about Bowmaster when I rip off my Brainstorm this turn. And now I'm looking for Sheoldred's Edict, Witherbloom Command, some pressure to deal with their Tamiyo. I do have 2 cards in the sideboard that would help with exactly this situation. Oh, there's a card that beats Tamiyo as well. I'm going to make blue, and I'm going to use it to cast Brainstorm. That was a lot of lands. Put back Undercity Sewer and Island, and then I'll fetch Underground Sea, and might as well cast Life from the Loam. I'm not doing anything else. I didn't want this Narset to get dazed. Now it's susceptible to Thoughtseize, but calculated risk. Tamiyo at 6. Wasteland. The Barrow Boy. All right. Deck, deliver me some goods. Fatal Push. Goods have started to arrive. I'll make a blue, and I will cast that Brainstorm. Get a bunch more lands. I'll put back 2 of the fetches. I have some moderate interest in wastelanding them here, but I don't actually care about Wasteland, and that's their only target for Wasteland. I push your Barrogoyf, and I guess I'll pass holding up Bowmaster. And I'm going to need... Well, Narset plus Bowmaster is 2 shots at making Tamiyo worse. Because ultimating Tamiyo into Bowmaster, you die. Ultimating Tamiyo into Narset doesn't do anything. Replacement Tamiyo. I'm going to go end step Bowmaster. This will just test some interaction. If they force this or Bowmaster it back, those are just things I know about now. Wasting my drop in response. Okay. I'll deal 1 to Tamiyo. That way, if they win this fight, it will at least cost them their Tamiyo to do that. Fatal Push, 2 cards left in hand. All right, can I have a useful card, maybe? That's almost useful. Yes, make blue, play Wasteland, cast Narset, and hope they don't have Force of Will right now. Hey, Narset's in. I could play around Kaito by not minusing her, and I think I have to do that. And it's exactly Kaito, and no other card. All right, you know what? I'm trying to get ahead here. If I can dig up a blue spell, Brainstorm, now I have Force of Will available. It has to be exactly Kaito. And fetching in the end step is great news for me, because that means that I could try to keep them off 3 mana for Kaito. Dumped a Daze, Wasteland you. Okay. 2 cards in hand plus 1 random draw has to be land plus Kaito, but if it is that, they win on the spot. Tamiyo up to 9, heck yeah. It's going to be one of those games. Might as well bank some clues. They do work on my turn. Not going to Dredge Loam. Murderous Cut. I think I'm going to decline Carpet for now. And I'm going to go Narset down to 1. That leaves her dead to Orcish Bowmaster. Witherbloom Command, a great find. Tropical Island. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent. I choose Tamiyo, and target player mills 3, return a land. I could have them mill 3, because my graveyard's already stocked. I'd be trying to mill to URO. It is a little weird to ever target your opponent who can do anything from their graveyard. They have Murktide Regent, they have Tamiyo. But if the game gets grindy, having fewer cards in the deck might matter. Cracking a clue in response while it still works. And then I have 2 Wastelands already. I'm going to just get back a Tropical, or a Misty Rainforest. And I should probably Murderous Cut right now. Okay, make black off of Carpet. Murderous Cut, target Tamiyo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pay. We've seen Daze. All right, never mind. I will delve down and make sure Daze doesn't get me here. Okay. I can Force of Will a Murktide or Bowmaster, and then we play on from there. I drew Ponder. I'll make a blue and cast Ponder. Kaito, what's up? I like every single one of these cards. I think I want the Bowmaster now, and I'll try to set up Kaito next turn. This Wasteland can be super annoying, as they're out of basics. End step clue, Bowmaster you. Get those points. There is a critical mass where I can bully fetch lands too. Like waste the fetch land, they fetch in response, play Wasteland, waste them. Top of my deck is Kaito. If I Brainstorm right now, that's fine. They can have my Brainstorm, I guess. Took the Brainstorm. Is it Murktide time? That Hail Mary. Underground Sea. Blue in the pool. This is how it happens. A Murktide. Full 8/8 status. Yes, use Carpet. Make double black. Cast Kaito the old-fashioned way. Stun Murktide. Wasteland. Attack for 4. We're cooking. Opponent's at 9. And remember, cantrips don't work right now. No, them having 4 cards in hand doesn't mean they've been banking up cards for a fight right now. There's probably at least 1 cantrip over there. Okay, the old Ponder to look at the top 3, but you don't get one right now. Ponder does still have utility, even though it doesn't draw cards. Didn't shuffle Ponder. Okay. That means I can wasteland them here, and they have to decide. Okay, killing my large creature. They have to decide if they want the mana or the card that's on top of the deck right now, which I think means I want to Dredge Loam. Some good ones went away, but that's okay. I am not going to use Carpet's ability, not yet. And I'm going to attack. They take their beats, and then in the end of combat, I'm going to Wasteland Flooded Strand. If they fetch in response, I get an extra mana. If they don't fetch, then I know what I'm working with. Yes, make blue. Activate Kaito. Surveil 2. Brainstorm Tamio. Is that a combo? Do those cards interact? A top. We got a GG in the chat. And they've had enough. Too many engines running. The Dimir Tempo is the deck that Pokemoki put directly in the crosshairs when he designed this deck. And that did feel like pretty solid dismantling of everything they're trying to do. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I am on the play in round 4 versus Bryant Cook of the Epic Storm. My hand is bad against the Epic Storm and all combo decks, so I'm going to mulligan. Okay, we did it. And not only is Force of Will here, but Stifle, which is the actual disrespectful card. Any combo deck that a dedicated Legacy combo player would play knows how to beat Force of Will, but Stifle is one of these annoying little daggers in the side. They keep this. I think I want Witherbloom Command to go to the bottom. Narset is just blue card for a blue count. Underground Sea. I'm going to Surveil. Sewer. Bayou. Yeah, I'll take most lands here. I am going to waste Brainstorm in response. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Nice Wasteland dummy. Opponent still has 4 mana on turn 2. Veil. I'm going to force Veil. I'm kind of feigning weakness here with the Stifle. So if he just like accepts that as him to Turok, then we can play on. Chrome Mox. Gamble. All right, well, there's only one place this goes. And unfortunately, it has nothing to do with my Stifle. So the Eons are about to echo, but opponent is starting with 0 mana. And I did counter Veil, so ripping a force here works. Ooh, okay, he's playing around the second force. It's responsible. Brainstorm. There's nothing I could hit with Brainstorm here that would make me happy. So I'm going to pass. What's happening is that my opponent is reading that because I was willing to force the first one, I probably don't have, or I probably do have 2 forces. Okay, that was great. I spun into a second Stifle. All right, end step. It had nothing to do with his 7 new cards. That's pretty lucky for me. I'm going to get rid of these removal spells that are not playable in the matchup, which is pretty sweet because I have 2 Stifles now, which means I can beat a Thoughtseize. Using Witherbloom Command on Mox Opal would cost him a Lotus Petal if he has Veil of Summer, and I still get to hit my land drop. All right, destroy target thing, target player mills. I mill, destroy your Opal. Would I rather destroy Opal or Chrome Mox? Opal could be easily replaced by a second legendary copy in hand, or Chrome Mox is actually down material. All right, I'm going to go for Chrome Box. And if I get Veiled, it doesn't matter what I'm targeting. All right, Veil's fine. I get to mill 3. There is still a legal target for that spell, and it's me. Double Stifle is so dirty. Brainstorm resolves. The One of Days. Can it find purchase here? My Toxic X has arrived. URO, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Will you have a moment to shine here? Chrome Mox. Exiling Brainstorm means the hand is already ready to do something. Doesn't need any more card selection. Veil resolves. It's not a cantrip. Dark Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. Burning Wish. Ooh, discarding Hexing Squelcher. Welcome to Magic Online, Lorwyn. Peer into depth, or peer into the abyss. All right, yeah, well. Draw 21. Can it beat Stifle? Is the twist. You have to Thoughtseize me twice here. Or Tendrils me out twice, which might be possible. If there's a main deck Tendrils and one in the sideboard for Burning Wish, might be able to just do it twice. Or if there's some secondary thing, like Empty the Warrens kind of effect. Beseech the Mirror. Gaia's Will. Sure, enjoy that. Peer into the Abyss. Me now? We both peer into the Abyss. Target me with peer into the Abyss until I die. I don't think you can actually do that. I'm just trying to enjoy myself. Grape Shot definitely has the Storm to win. Or no, I have Stifle, not Veil. But there should be the resources to Burning Wish twice here. There's one of them. Thoughtseize, okay. Can you Thoughtseize me twice? I do have 2 Stifles. 1 down. LED. Ritual. Petal. So that's 2 Burning Wishes used. Could you, or no, that's 3? Or is this one also this one? I don't actually know how that displays on Magic Online. All right, Burning Wish. Another one. Another Thoughtseize. Yep, okay, so that's all the Burning Wishes spent. And show me that Tendrils. I actually don't know if that's all the Burning Wishes or just 3. That's fun. Beseech the Mirror. That should get the main deck Tendrils. And manage to do it. What a big tough guy beating an opponent after you draw 21 cards. If I drew 21 cards, I could win too. Right. Hydroblast Consign, Veil of Summer. Surgical is mid. It's not often you find targets for that. Though there are cards that I need to come out of my deck, like Sheoldred's Edict. We did see Hexing Squelcher, which means I have to leave in a little bit of removal, which is pretty annoying because I don't want to do that in this matchup. It's not a low matchup. Nile Spellbomb does... It could slow down, or it could make a Echo setup turn awkward. It also blows out Gaia's Will. And Murderous Cut can go, just leaving in a couple pushes, and Dress Down can turn off the Squelcher. Witherbloom Command's actually okay versus this deck. Narset and Bowmaster are all great. You gotta win somehow. I like Kaito. I like that URO is blue for Force, even though it's a really slow clock. Yeah, maybe Barrowgoyf is just not what this game's about. Disruptor Flute naming Beseech the Mirror or Burning Wish could mess up the math, but I'm not going that far in. Engineered Explosives wiping up all the invested Moxen could be big. And if there is a creature token juke in the build these days, that could do something. 22 might be more lands than I need. I could cut my basic Swamp. Is Swamp worse than Wasteland? I think Wasteland is worse than Swamp. Because as we saw, you can Wasteland this deck and then they just have 4 mana anyway. Keep. Hydroblast also kills Squelcher. There's also some benefit to my opponent having seen both Stifles that I play that game in my hand at the same time. Seeing 1, it could be a one of. Seeing 2, it's like, oh, is this a dedicated tempo deck? And if I have 2, do I have 3? Well, I have 1 right now. A land drop's coming in. I'm going to Surveil on this end step. Sewer. Ponder. I guess I do want access to that. Ponder. Another Consign, another Ponder. I don't think I need another Consign. I will take the other Ponder, though. That keeps me looking next turn. Bad lands. I'm drawing Blue to Delta, which I am happy with. Blue to Delta, fetch. I'm going to get Underground Sea and play Strix. I still have up 2 of my 3 pieces of interaction, but now I'm turning on Kaito. And I'm not going to be stifling fetch lands here. I might have done it 2 turns ago, but now there's so many lands in play, it doesn't matter. And that'll definitely be more useful in a spot where I might actually counter a storm trigger. A fetch in the end step. That fetch was a little more tempting because my opponent is trying to scramble away a brainstorm and this turns on green mana. But I'm on that diamond hands life here. Yeah, Thoughtseize is kind of annoying. I do have 2 stifles though. And if he has Hexing Squelcher into win, then there's nothing I can do about it if he takes the Hydroblast. I lost the Hydroblast. Uh-oh. Is it go time? Is it squelch time? Ritual. Burning Wish. Yep. Knows I can't interact with that. 5 black floating here. Opal. I could consign this. Is this a trick? It might be, but I'm going to fall for it. Consign the Opal. 1 card left in hand other than Beseech. Oh, we got an I am an idiot in the chat. Talking about himself. Not me. If he had just started this turn with Mox Opal, there's no way I just rip off a consign on a naked Mox Opal, so that was a sequencing thing. But also, like, Thoughtseizing me. I guess after the Thoughtseize, so Thoughtseize me first, then play Opal. I'm not going to consign that shit, and then rip off your line for Beseech the Mirror. Okay, cool. We got him, or he got himself. Somebody got him there. Surgical and 2 Flutes. I don't think I want Grafdigger's Cage regardless, but Surgical 2 Flutes are all cards we could think about having in the deck. But I kind of like the cards I have already. Off we go. Okay, if opponent sends a turn 1 shot, we will be wheeling. But I like all this diverse 1-mana interaction. If we get to my turn, Oseiju, Lotus Petal, LED, Mox Opal. Oh, big Squelchy. All right, well, there it is. If I can get this dress down online, and Squelcher is just spells, so Stifle still works. The other guy, Spider-Punk, is spells and abilities. Okay. Fetch. Sewer. I don't need another land. Okay, I could play out Nile Spellbomb. Or it's Nile Spellbomb and leave up Stifle, or Tameo and leave up Stifle, and I think I want Tameo. This stops the bleeding. This Grizzly Bear is not going to kill me. Veil of Summer. Bummer. Alright, well, that's what Hexing Squelcher does anyway. Dark Ritual. Oh, this is actually a really cool trick, because this makes Tameo flip, and you can just stack it for 2. Like, I don't have a choice here. Sick. Alright. Dirty. The Epic Storm combat tricks. That also just shuffled away my 2 Stifles, and now this forces nothing. Gamble happens. Gambled away a Verdant Catacombs. I don't think that's what he gambled for. So he's seen 2 Stifles consign and knows that I'm a green deck, so we'll at least have to think about Veil of Summer. So there's a lot to think about, unless opponent finds a Thoughtseize and actually sees that I have nothing going on. Okay, another Echo. That's a fresh look at the Stifles and consigns and Veil. Okay, I actually have a plan now. Or I can actually do anything now. And moving to combat. Losing Tameo sucks. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I don't have to lose Tameo here, but it would tap me out of Veil of Summer to do it. Hell yeah. I almost lost track of the fact that I just spun into my Fatal Push. Oh, right. Never mind. God damn it, Brian. There's also a Veil in effect. Okay. Whoops. Whee! We're just making it up as we go along here. Tropical Island, and I should probably Fatal Push now, where it would at least cost him Lotus Petal to Veil this. Okay, well, then I won't pay the ward. Okay, just missed on 2 life there. You can let me pay the ward first and then counter my spell. There's a lot of layers of protection to keep track of over there. LED. A Dark Ritual. Gromox. Pitched Gaia's Blessing, or Gaia's Will. Okay, that's good. That's one combo angle that doesn't exist anymore. Legend Roll Beseiju. There's a lot of Besejus in there. There's also a lot of mana in the pool. Burning Wish. Is it Peer into the Abyss time once again? I hate peering into the Abyss. I never like what I see in there. There it is. I don't think this game is winnable once my opponent draws 22 cards, but I will at least try to hide behind this Veil of Summer and buy myself a turn, though with this many resources should be able to find a line through it. Okay, I'm getting Thoughtseized. This is Veil time. I did not draw Ponder, unfortunately. Opponent has to think about Ponder and Consign from this Undercity Sewer. I don't think it would dissuade him from doing what he needs to do, but has to at least think about it. Beseech the Mirror. Song of Creation. Okay. Time to draw the rest of the deck. Here comes the rest of the deck. I mean, I don't think he's going to deck himself. I think he's better at playing his own deck than that, but that is my out right now. Another Veil. And if he can't get through the Veil, the Song of Creation will discard the hand in the end step. So this is probably has access to his whole deck right now, functionally. And I assume there is a solution here. Yeah, just Grape Shot if it's still in there. Echo of Eons. Okay. Is that the best we can do? I guess so. Yeah, Hardcast Echo draws 2 and then shuffles those 2 away with everything else. This is more looks at Stifle and Consign, which I did find. Burning Wish. Oh, right, Approach of the Second Sun. I did know about this technology. If the spell is cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach, you win the game. Okay, that is not a trigger. I did know about this tech. I've heard Bryant mention it many times, and I was still just like, how does he do this? Okay, there's the first Approach. It is now 7 cards into the deck. LED. It's 3 cards from the top now. Has to come up with an initial mana source, though. Stacking LEDs doesn't do it here. That does. I could stifle this. Alright, this is my last chance to interact. I'm going to stifle the Chrome Mox trigger and hope that he just doesn't have another mana. I don't like my chances. Alright, there it is. Well, now the Approach is in hand. So he has to come back up with 7 mana and can't use LEDs to do it. Dark Ritual. Opal. That's 3, 4, 5 mana. There you go. GG's. Sweet. I'm glad I could showcase the Epic Storm on my channel. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round with a hand that I would only keep if I didn't know, if I was sure my opponent was not a Wasteland deck. I'm going to mulligan this as it stands. I like this one. I'm going to keep, and I think I'm going to put a Stifle to the bottom. I have faith in that Narset delivering me some kind of action down the road. I can stifle a Wasteland or a Fetch land here. Can't stifle Tameo. I can Fatal Push it, though. Bayou, Fatal Push. I just found the mana I need to cast Narset next turn. I will totally rip off this Stifle on a Fetch land if I get the opportunity. Brainstorm. That makes stifling a Fetch land even better, because that means the opponent will have to redraw cards they didn't want. Pew pew, don't daze me, bro. That was nice. Okay, stick Narset onto this empty board or waste them down to nothing. I can stick Narset next turn. I'll waste them down to nothing. Hedge Maze. It's kind of a land. Dumped a Murktide. This looks like some kind of Beanstalk deck. Drawing a blue card there was the best I could ask for, because now I can protect my Narset, and now I don't care about up the Beanstalk, or Ponder, or Brainstorm, or any of that shit. Daze to my hand. The one of Daze showing up right on time. Ponder to look at some cards, but not get them. Did not shuffle. A Strix. Activate Narset. Oh, look at all this stuff. Witherbloom Command. Oh, that's actually sick. I'm gonna take Witherbloom Command here, because what I can do is mill them and I get my Wasteland. Black, green. Because they just kept a card on top of their deck that they wanted. And I just cleared that card and I could take away their thing. Kind of unconventional, but it works. This might be the full-ass mirror match. Undercity Sewers, unless it's Bug Beans. I guess this could be a 4-color Beanstalk deck or something, unless this is actually the Pokemoki Mirror. The opponent's missing land drops over there. That's what we like to see. Strix. I've got a clock now. I love that. Just waiting to see any win con, even Baleful Strix. We'll take it. Okay, it's definitely a Bug X control deck. It could be a Mirror. It could be Beanstalk. I think I like Carpet, Veil of Summer, and maybe Nile Spellbomb in all of those cases. I think Fatal Push is a little worse, even though I do know I have to deal with Tameo, but Murderous Cut and Children's Edict can also challenge Murktide, where Fatal Push doesn't. I can shave the days. I got to show it to them game 1 without using it. Now I can board it out and they have to play around days. I like that. Caracas for the Tameo. I didn't see Felia or White Mana to cast Felia. I don't know that they're doing all that. I think I'll shave 1 Force of Will and do this and try to keep it light until I know more about the deck. It can't be the 75 card Pokemoki copy-paste mirror because I don't have a Hedge Maze. I'll keep this. I like Wasteland. I like Narset. I wish Kaito was a different card, but I'm not going to be picky. Carpet of Flowers, oh no. That does make my Wasteland worse, but it makes my Witherbloom command kind of sweet. Okay, cool. This lets me Witherbloom command without ever having an island in play on their turn. Tameo's here. I do have the answer to that. If I get Veil of Summer, that would be a big bummer. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to Wasteland the green and then pass. And the green is still available. Okay, I guess all I can do is go for it at this point. Destroy target thing. Target player mills 3. I mill 3. Carpet of Flowers is destroyed. I fetched Bayou to at least mitigate the carpet's influence. Yeah, okay. I did my best to play around that. I'll pick Wasteland up and pass the turn. I have several answers to a Tameo in my hand. The Strix can block it. Narset can blank the ultimate. Children's Edict can kill it. Ponder plus Clue can guarantee a Tameo flip here. There it goes. And fetching for more. Ponder. Okay, it's not the replacement Tameo. That's what I was worried about. Did not shuffle. A Brainstorm gives me something to think about at least. And I'm going to Brainstorm. Oh yeah, there's the goods. Undercity Sewer on top and Wasteland on top. I'm not playing Wasteland this turn. I'll play out my Trop. So if they want to fight over Carpet, I can Veil them. Yes, make blue. I'm just going to play Narset and start digging. This also clears the lands I didn't want on top of the deck. Put that Ponder in the bank. All right, this just became a slugfest. It went from how am I going to beat Tameo to a complete slugfest almost immediately. Green in the pool. What are we doing with green mana? Picking up Veil. Am I going to get comboed out somehow? Wasteland. Wasting my Bayou. If they have an Edict, that's pretty good. Oh, alright, well. I know this trick. And their Veil doesn't stop my Veil. Children's Edict, okay. Hell yeah, what a battle. Okay. So this doesn't die. They do get to pick up Wasteland. Bug Beans confirmed. Is Wasteland even what you want here? I guess that makes my turns a little awkward, but I have so much mana off the carpet, I don't even know if that's where you want to go. Yeah, they picked up Misty Rainforest. I think that's correct. Okay, I'm going to make black. Yes, make black. Cast Strix first. Bowmaster is a card in their deck. I'm just trying to tease it out. Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker. And I'm going to Ponder because they didn't Bowmaster me on Strix, so I don't think they have that card. I do have that card, though. All right, Bowmaster in my hand. Fatal Push on top. Access to Kaito if they don't deal with my Strix. Cracking a Clue. Carpet's good for 2. 7 cards in their hand. I really don't want to see Beanstalk. Like, even Murktide I have counterplay for, but the card Beanstalk I will not be able to catch up with. And I think I am going to fetch in the upkeep. I don't want Fatal Push. Oh, right. I forgot I shuffled away my Sewers. That should have been the end step. That was messy. Yes, make black. Sheoldred's Edict. Sacrifice a non-token creature of your choice. If they have Bowmaster in response, my Bowmaster can ping theirs, but I know they have Veil also. Boo. Boo. Alright. Okay, so you're blowing up my Strix. Maybe I should have just attacked with Strix. They're not going to block. Okay, this dies. I guess I should at least flush out the Veil here. Okay, fetching in response. Because they'll have to sack the Bowmaster to the Edict at the end of this chain anyway. This has to target my face. That and my Bowmaster are the only legal targets. Okay, so do you value Bowmaster or Murktide in this situation? Life from the Loam, target, Wasteland, Bayou, fetch land. Wasteland. I'll just start chewing up lands, I guess. I need Kaito to get in to stop this Murktide from hitting me or killing me in 2 hits. They must have just come up with that Bowmaster, because last turn it would have made more sense to do it. Now they have another one. But it would have made more sense to do it last turn when I was doing the Strix plus the Ponder stuff. Lots of damage. Big Rip. Mystery Rainforest is not the Big Rip I was looking for. I think I'm just dead. I can cast Kaito, stun the Murktide, but I'm still dead to all their other stuff, so I'm not gonna. We don't have to keep playing this game. And now that I know they are full bug beans, I'm interested in Fatal Push even more. I think another Force of Will can come out, and Dress Down doesn't do a lot here. Okay, back in. The final match, final game of the league. I will keep this on the play. I don't like how weak my hand is to Carpet. I'm just going to hope they don't have that card. I am going to lead on Underground Sea on purpose. I'm trying to tempt them into wasting me when I know that my hand has Life from the Loam in it. Okay, I should have put Wasteland in my hand and Fatal Push on top, because now, if they thought Seize me, they could clear a path for a creature. Uh-oh, green mana. Oh no. I'm not scared enough of it to force it, but it is really bad. I'll Spellbomb. Okay. Wasteland. I think I will. The Carpet's still doing carpet stuff over there, but okay. I could fetch Bayou next turn and develop my Nile Spellbomb. I will force a Beanstalk if they play one. Right. I'm going to float a black because they already floated blue. If they play Tameo here, I am going to push it. Okay, and I was kind of trying to walk them into Wasteland there because that makes this Loam pretty exciting. Okay, Bayou, my own Nile Spellbomb. I know they have Nile Spellbomb as well, but hopefully I can put them in a position where they have to decide whether they want to wipe out the 3 lands that are already there or the Loam once it's happening. Getting to draw a card while that happens stinks. Force of Will. All right, I'm going to rip off the Loam. It's really all I've got. This Nile Spellbomb's going to be really good here. I think this might be the difference between winning and losing. But next turn I can Dredge Loam and try to hit some land drops that way. Brainstorm. They can go land Murktide here, which I'm not super stoked about. But I'll probably just use Force of Will on that. Okay, cool. It was Hedge Maze. I accept. Oh, dumped a Murktide. Dumping a Murktide in a spot where you can jam Murktide is weird. I think I'm going to take a draw step and not Dredge Loam. And then I'll Spellbomb you and not Dredge Loam. Yes. A Swamp. Okay. And now I'm going to Brainstorm and still not Dredge Loam. Not yet. Veil, Barrogoyf, URO. Okay. I'm going to put URO and Murderous Cut, or URO and Fatal Push. URO, Murderous Cut on top of my deck. Swamp does not fuel the Carpet. I Dredge Loam next turn, which puts URO in the graveyard. I can Fatal Push a Tameo right now and back it up with Force of Will. Ponder. Sewer. Dumps Bayou. Okay, Dredge Loam here. Be sick if the 3rd card down was a land. It was not, it was Kaito. I'm not going to cast this Loam. I don't think I'm going to cast anything. I could just shove Barrogoyf. Finding my next mana lets me protect that with Veil, though. Yeah, I don't think I want to have a showdown here where they have the better engine running. Misty Rainforest, still playing Draw Go. A land? Oh yeah. Not only a land, but a fetch land. I know I'm charging up the carpet here, but I am just trying to do anything to develop. All right, Bowmaster on top of my deck. Loam targeting Catacombs. All right, my next land drop is lined up, and that land drop does represent URO. Green, green, a second carpet. All right, well, they haven't really been doing anything with their mana domination up to this point, so I'm just going to have to hope that that is not the bottleneck they were on. It looks like their bottleneck is action, not mana. Yeah, and they just didn't do anything with the second one. A Verdant Catacombs, and I think I want to start with Barrowgoyf. That one comes out of the hand rather than the graveyard. This one I can protect with Veil, where Uro, I would not be able to do that. Look what size Barrowgoyf is. Zoomers rejoice. No mana made off of Carpet of Flowers. I'm going to float a black. Make them think about Fatal Push rather than Veil. Second main, Carpet's happening. Blue, blue. Black, black. Fatal Push, fetch. Tropical Island. Veil of Summer. Mystical Dispute. Hard cast. This is an important showdown. I will force. I don't think I'm going to win this fight, but I am going to have it. And if I do win this fight, it's insane. Something's happening. Murderous Cut over top of all of it. So I am going to draw a card off Veil of Summer, which is going to dredge Loam. And then I go to my turn and start to reload. Life from the Loam, targeting Catacombs, Bayou, or it might be better to just shove Uro right now. Yeah, that's better. What am I even doing here? Though this Bowmaster is pretty exciting. Bowmaster's not that exciting. All right, yeah, I'm going to cast Uro here. Drop, Uro, green, green, blue, blue. And if I hit a land, the Uro is just also Bowmaster. Okay, Uro, trigger, ponder. All right, my Toxic Deck has arrived. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. They haven't deployed a threat in a while. Uro is the one that can shrug off removal the best. These carpets are worth 8 mana. 8 blue in the pool. Tamiyo resolves. Murktide resolves. I am going to end step push Tamiyo. I just don't think that fight gets much better on my turn. Okay. Life from the Loam, or I should Wasteland first. Okay, Wasteland your Underground Sea. Life from the Loam, target Wasteland, Bayou, Catacombs. And then when I attack with Uro, I can put in Wasteland. I'm going to Wasteland this Hedge Maze while we're in combat, so they can't Veil of Summer. Uro dies. Second main, Bowmaster. And I can stifle that fetch land. Cool. All right, I'm going to cast Ponder. I don't think Stifle is what this game's about. Look at all these good cards. Right, push, Murktide, Bowmaster, no Shuffle, no Loam. Okay. Opponent has more mana than me, but I have more of everything else. Ooh, Beanstalk, that's a good one. That's how this game can turn. I do have double Bowmaster to punish it, at least. Yeah, this is pretty late. Turn 10 of game 3 to come up with your first Beanstalk of the match. Tropical Island, pretty bad. Quantum Rizzler. Okay, so this Bowmaster is going to light them up like Christmas, but they are going to have a lot of cards in hand. Oh, wow, what a great card to draw off of that Bowmaster, or that Beans trigger. Jeez. Okay, well, suddenly we have a real game. All right, they get to draw 2 cards here, and I hope the party doesn't go too much farther. I can clean this up with what I have available to me next turn. Brainstorm, which what happened with 1 card in hand. Fucking A, that Bowmaster was good. Fetch, they're not done yet. Ponder, luckily this one only draws 1. My top card is Murktide, and there's a Fatal Push under it. Shuffled the Ponder. I needed a break there. Yeah, this is the power of Beanstalk. I mentioned it in the deck tech that it seems almost absurd to play a control deck not built around Beanstalk, and I was just ahead on basically everything, but then Beanstalk drew Quantum Riddler, which drew off Beanstalk, hit Bowmaster, drew 2 more, and then a million cards later. This game is now really tight. Didn't shuffle that Ponder, second Beanstalk. All right, I don't like it. Okay, I'm drawing Murktide. I'm not dredging Loam. That doesn't make any sense. I think what I want to do is escape Uro and see if they try to counter it, and then I'll respond with Bowmaster. Okay, green, green, blue, blue. I'm going to exile Loam just to save time on the clock at this point. Okay, URO resolved, which means my opponent probably doesn't have counterplay. I'm going to go for Bowmaster here, take out theirs before my URO trigger happens. URO, as long as there's a fetchable blue source still in my deck, this fetch land represents Stifle. And stifling a Bowmaster trigger out of them to protect my Bowmaster could be everything. Your carpets make 10 mana. Oh, there's Swamp Band by only 8 mana, sorry. A fetch. I assume that's to shuffle. It would be terrifying if they actually need more mana here. What does that even mean? Okay, there's the Riddler from Exile, who is getting my Bowmaster going here. Riddler is also smaller than URO and my Orc army. They find Veil of Summer. Something just started happening. Okay, I'm going to fetch here. I'll get this Underground Sea. And stifling their Bowmaster trigger is better than pushing their Bowmaster here, because mine will deal with theirs, as long as mine is still in play. Force of Will doesn't help them here, because that triggers their Beanstalks, and then I get the Bowmaster fight going. If they have Veil, that doesn't help them either. Okay. So now Riddler comes into play. They draw a card, and my Bowmaster kills theirs. I take that out. Ooh, Veil of Summer, good find. All right, now my Bowmaster has to hit my Orc army. All right, game on. I still have the two biggest creatures in play. And decking themselves becomes a concern at some point if my life total's too high. Tameo. All right, and I'm getting a turn. Draw. I'm going to Fatal Push Orcish Bowmaster before anything else happens. And then attack with URO and Orc army. I think I do want the land in play. Gotta block one of these. That makes sense. And then Narset. I'm gonna dig, even though that makes Quantum Riddler kill her. Bummer. Okay, Murktide time. Yeah, that was a tough turn to whiff, but here we go. Also a little tension here because the Narset turns off the Bowmaster. So there are spots, we got the GGs in the chat. There are spots where them taking damage for having to draw cards is better, and there are spots where them being unable to draw cards are better. But we did it, got over. That was such a good match. Okay. Brainstorm 4 lands in hand. That is what I needed their hand to be. A positive record with Pokemoki Bug featuring URO, my Toxic X. URO was pretty solid in this league. There were definitely spots where he felt kind of too slow or outclassed by a threat like Murktide Region or Barrogoyf. But there were also spots where he gained me a bunch of life and then was a 6/6. For those, I am happy. With Graveyard Hate being down in the format because Reanimator is not the top deck anymore, URO decks don't get passively blown out by everyone's main deck Nile Spellbombs anymore. That's an upside. I love decks like this, just Pokemoki out there, building deck, reaching into my brain and building decks that would make my brain chemicals fire. I appreciate that every day. I probably wouldn't play the Days. Maybe a second Strix or a second Barrogoyf. There's options, but third Tameo. They're obviously, I'm not gonna name every card in the Bug Wedge right now that you could play instead of Days in a Legacy deck, but I do find that kind of mid and everything else really great. Justin, thank you for the opportunity to play this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.